All right, ladies. We are here for another business talk. So we're going to be looking and focusing on marketing. So one of our own, Heidi, is actually going to show us and just share with us a little bit about marketing and how her take of marketing is. So Heidi, stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you, and hello. Hello, everyone. I'm glad you're here. Um, I wanted to share because started a math tutoring business sort of on accident, really on accident. Um, I have been a math teacher and a tutor for over 34 years, off and on, part-time, while raising kids, while my kids napped, and then going back to school when my kids' private school needed a teacher. They were desperate. So I've been doing this for 34 years. I started when I was 20 years old in college, tutoring high school math students, and then taught in public and private university for a while. So what happened though is 4 years ago, I got certified as a life coach. I had a lot of anxiety parenting my oldest child, and I found life coaching changed my life so much that I wanted to get certified. I spent a lot of money. It was a huge investment, but I learned so much. I would do it all over again, even if I never made any money from it. My husband saw a change in me. He got certified, and we are now both coaching people. I am not now because my math has taken off so much, but he is coaching people. I end up coaching a lot of my friends or more colleagues free when I was getting certified, and it was great. So anyway, when it came to marketing and putting myself out there for life coaching, I was terrified. I was so excited to help people. I had helped so many people free. I had women giving me testimonies, telling me how I helped them learn to love their mother-in-law and how they weren't worried about what their parents thought about them, how they were able to go to work. Anyway, I had lots of success with women, and yet I still felt so funny putting myself out there. I was worried about what my friends would think, what my ex-coworkers would think, what my parents would think. It was just lots of worry about what people would think about me putting myself out there. Lots of fear, lots of shame, embarrassment. And I spent 3 months of last summer getting coached on how to put myself out there. And I still couldn't do it. I could not take the steps I needed to. I was afraid to ask the people I was coaching free to start paying me. So I said to my husband, I'd been following and reading and studying marketing for about 4 years, along with getting certified in life coaching. And I was being marketed to by some really good life coaches. That's how I got life coach myself. I was marketed to, and I loved the marketing because it was providing value for me. It was very succinct, very short, very to the point. I loved it, and I knew there was something there that was good. So last summer, I said to my husband, I'm going to practice marketing on Facebook groups with math tutoring because I can confidently market myself with that and I know what to do. So I'm going to practice joining these Facebook groups and helping people, providing value, and then telling you who I am. That was last October, the end of October 2023, and it just blew up. And I started getting so many clients, and I had so much fun teaching these high school students online that I just started doing that. So I couldn't figure out why I was getting so many clients because I didn't have a website. I didn't have business cards. I didn't even have a name for my business. I didn't have LinkedIn. I didn't have a Google business. The only thing I had is I created a Facebook group called Math Tutoring Explanation Point, took a picture on my whiteboard of a problem, and told people who I was. And then I joined some math tutoring groups. I went into Facebook and I Googled math tutors, math tutoring, high school math tutors. And I found some groups I could join and tell people who I was. And I was getting people, and I'm still getting people. I've had people from 21 states since October. And I talked to other people who are having a hard time, and I couldn't figure it out. So I went to work to figure out, what is it? Why am I getting clients? And I think it came down to my copy. And so I read a book called Building a Story Brand. And I had heard about this book for 4 years. Dave Ramsey promotes it, Corinne Crabtree, Brooke Castillo, Stacy Bayman. These are all people, besides Dave Ramsey, these other people in the life coaching business. And I had read their marketing for years, and I had copied it and copied what I was reading because I liked it. And when I read this book, I realized I was doing almost all these steps in here. So I totally recommend reading this book. It really is helpful. And this guy, Donald Miller, has a lot of books on marketing. So I'm going to just briefly share some of the things that he talked about that I found I was doing. One thing I wanted to mention is I was so scared to put myself out there. 4 years ago, I was going to offer tutoring in the summer where my kids go to school. And for $32 an hour, I was going to offer math tutoring for high school and middle school kids. And it took me over a month to get this little ad and to take it to the principal and said, would you put this in the parent newsletter? And I was so scared to do it. I was afraid she'd say no. I was afraid she'd think I was greedy for wanting money in the summer. I was afraid parents would read it and say, who is Heidi? Who is Heidi Erickson that she thinks she could tutor in our school? Like I was a math teacher and I was so ashamed to do this. And I just told myself, be scared and do it anyway. And that's really a mantra of mine is I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're going to have to deal with feelings of embarrassment, shame, fear, confusion. And a lot of times we do stuff to avoid it. I mean, I used to avoid those feelings, right? I'd clean, I'd eat, I watch TV, you know, scroll on my phone. If I don't want to feel shame or I don't want to feel embarrassment, I don't want to feel fear, I would basically buffer my life from doing that. But I had to tell myself, be afraid and do it anyway. And the other thing, my other thought is let them think I'm greedy. Let them think I'm crazy. Let my parents think I'm weird. Let my siblings think I'm weird. Like, just let them. People are going to have their opinions and it doesn't mean anything about me. And that has helped me a lot too, and I also don't let no's from people. I mean, it's hard to get a no from a person, but I don't let it mean anything about me anymore. I'm like, oh, maybe I can learn from. I feel like if they say yes, it's a win. If they say no, I learn, right? It's not like a loss. I just learn. If a no is learning, a yes is winning. But a no is not losing. A no is just learning. Learning either it wasn't the right person, I didn't sell it right, my wording wasn't right, it's not the right time for them, whatever. But I'm not going to let it mean anything about me as a tutor or as a person. And that all, some of that's come from life coaching, some of that is mindset work, and that has been probably 4 years in the making. But I think that's really important, and that's what's helped me a lot. Lynette, you're smiling. Why are you smiling? Did she hear me?
Yeah, because it's the same. It's a full-on mindset, and it's a journey. It's a real journey.
Yeah, yeah. It is a battle. It's not like, yeah, I just think it's a battle you have to fight. And one thing I've learned too is our life is 50-50. 50% good, 50% bad. And when I experience negative emotion, I just be like, oh, this is the half of life that's bad. I mean, I used to want to do everything to avoid feeling negative emotion, right? Avoid feeling ashamed, avoid feeling embarrassed, avoid feeling fear, but then we just hide.
Mm-hmm.
We hide. And if we just say, like, if we realize, okay, I'm feeling ashamed, I'm feeling embarrassed, I just asked this person and they backed away from me, like they acted, you know, I was like way too aggressive in my selling, and they backed away from me and they looked at me like I was a weirdo. And I just have to be like, okay, that's okay. I learn not to approach a person like that again. I actually had that happening. I'm trying to sell life coaching from my car to a person on the sidewalk. It was crazy. And it's like, she backed away from me. Like, I got to get away from you. And I was like, so embarrassed, but I'm like, this is how I learn. And the thing is, if we don't if we don't ask for the sale, if we don't tell people what we're doing, we're not going to ever get a no. But if we don't get no's, we're never going to learn. Sometimes I think we should be like, let's try and get 10 no's this week, which means you have to make 10 asks, right? You have to have a call to action. You have to ask people to sign up to see you. You have to make an ask. So anyway, that's just a little bit about that. I think with math tutoring, I had a great belief that I can help math students. So every time I write an email, every time I write my post, I have great belief that I can help a student, and I want to communicate that very quickly in like 4th grade language to tell the parent, to make the parent know that their kid can get help and I can do it. I think I have leadership energy on the call. like a good teacher in a classroom has to come into the room, I think, with leadership energy. They have to have a plan. They have to know what they're going to do to execute the plan, and the students consent that is going to happen. And I feel like when I get on a call, I have a plan and I communicate the plan, and the parents trust that I'm a guide, not a hero. I'm the guide. This is all coming from this book. I'm a guide who has a plan that can help them meet their goals. And they, or the student, is the hero in the story. And he'll go into, that's what the whole story brand is about. He relates it to lots of movies, how there's always a hero in a story. There's a plot or a problem, and a guide comes along and has a plan and helps them execute the plan. And then there's ups and downs, and the hero in the movie believes that the guide can help them have a transformation. And that's really what we're selling, is a transformation when we're selling things. We're not selling a product as much as a transformation. People want to know the transformation they're going to get. And you can read more about that, but I think that's, and so leadership energy is different for everyone. Like for me, I'm the opposite, because Audrey, I heard you say how like, you're going to get on and you're not going to worry about perfectionism, and you're going to not do your makeup and do your hair or get dressed up or whatever. Like for me to have leadership energy, I have to have makeup on. I have to put a little jewelry on. I Googled like 10 minutes, like a long time ago, like what are the good colors to wear on a Zoom call? What type of, like for me, like just, I feel confident if I do that. Now I'm not saying I never tutor in a sweatshirt. I might on a weekend, but I show up with more leadership energy if I feel dressed, and that, so that depends on the person. But ask yourself, what makes me feel like I have leadership energy to lead the call, to lead the tutoring, to lead the sales call, to lead the parent? Like what makes me feel, that's what helps me. And I think I want to be a guy who has a plan, who believes that that student can pass, can learn the material, and I believe I can help them. So I do, those are true beliefs I have. And I also believe there's a lot of students out there. And one of my trainings, it's Stacy Bayman, 2K for 2K. She said, imagine a Walmart where people are lined up all the way around the building in the parking lot. And she goes, that's how many people are out there. That was for life coaching. That's how many people want and could benefit from life coaching, but you have to find them. And I think about that with math tutoring. There are students that are lined up for help, and we're able to help them, but we just have to find a way to connect with them. And that's going to be through our marketing. A couple of things I read that I guess I do differently. I'll hear some people, I read some ads just in Facebook groups alone, because like I said, I still don't have any of these other things. I don't have a website. I don't do ads, none of that, none of those things. But I see in the Facebook group, people will say, I've been teaching this, I got this on the SAT, this score on the ACT, and I'm very excited to start my own tutoring business now and help. And I think that people don't care about that. They don't care if you're excited to start a tutoring business. I feel like people want to know how you can help them. So I try to not say too much about myself. I put things in the bottom in my signature that tell people why I'm qualified to do it. And I can show you that later, but I kind of stay away from that. I give a clear call to action, and he talks about that in here too. It's called a CTA, call to action. So I always tell people exactly what they can message me back with if they want to move forward. A lot of people I read say, message me if I can help, reach out if I can, if you're interested in tutoring. And I think when a parent reads that, they have to think about what to type. And then if I was that parent and I was on my phone, I was in a hurry, I would put my phone away and I'd say, I'll deal with that later. But I always say, I'll read you here what I say, message me your child's grade in school and math class if you'd like me to set up that Zoom call. So the parent, if they want to continue, if they want to proceed working with me, they know exactly what to message me. So grade in school and the math class. And a lot of times they might say, can you help my 10th grade in geometry? But they might say 10th grade geometry. And then if they've already reached out to me and said, can you help my 10th grader in geometry? He's failing or getting a D and he was getting A. Sometimes they give me details like that. I'll say, my next thing I will say is message me your time zone. And I will set up in the Zoom call. I've already expressed what that is. And if they don't know, here, I'll read it. Can I share my screen, Audrey? Let's see. Can you hear me? All right.
I just wanted to mute myself.
Okay.
Yeah, we're
But
all
yeah,
on
I can
mute.
hear you.
Can you guys, I am not even great at technology. Can you see this little letter I've written or not?
Yes.
All right, so this is what I basically put in my Facebook ad. I don't even say hello. People, I just write, it says that I can, say something in the Facebook group. So I write, I've been teaching and tutoring high school math classes for over 34 years. I get results fast. This right here, I get results fast. This book talks about what are you really good at? What can you provide for people? What's something you can put in their head like a slogan that they can, I use this over and over again in my marketing. I get results fast. Because as I tutor students, I realize that's one thing I know I do. I feel is a strength of mine is I can fill in their gaps of past learning that they don't know as I'm helping with their current math homework. And they tend to, their grades go up quickly. If I tutor them 2, 3, 4 times, they can score better on that next test. So I use that over and over again. And then what happens is if you use it in your marketing, people start using that when they talk about you. So people might say, yeah, you might want to call Heidi Erickson. She gets results really fast because I use it in all my marketing. And it came up because one time the guidance counselor at my school had reached out to me to see if I tutor her student in trigonometry. And I was embarrassed to say I was charging $64 an hour, but I didn't want to do it for any less than that. So she asked me if I was available, if I had time. And I said, yes, my fee is $64 an hour. I get results fast, period. And I sent it off. I was so embarrassed. She's like, that sounds great. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. But the reason I came up with that is like, I want her to realize why I charge $64 an hour. I get results fast. So it's funny how some of this, but I realize that's a 4-word sentence and it communicates a lot. And I use it a lot when parents write back to me and I write back to them. Sometimes they'll ask me my fees and I'll tell them I get results fast. Then I say this, I'd love to meet you and your child on a Zoom call on which I will help them with their current math homework for 15 to 20 minutes. I feel like that's a plan. I have a plan in place that I use and the parent feels held. They feel like this person's got me. They know what they're doing. I don't it doesn't just say if I can help, reach out. I feel like that's too vague. For me, I'm not saying you guys need to do any of this. I'm just saying what I think has worked for me. And then I say, at that time, if you feel we are a good fit, we can make a plan to work together. And that's when I tell them my price and how I schedule people and all that. If it's not a good fit, we end the call and your child gets free math help for the day. It's a win-win. And that's where I feel like I can provide some value. And it doesn't cost them anything. I give up 15 to 20 minutes of my time, and it is time consuming to do this. The communicating back and forth with parents, setting up the thing, it does take some time. And I personalize every text back. I don't just copy and paste something. If they tell me they have a junior and it's a daughter, I use, the pronoun she. I talk about if they give me the name, I use her name. So I go back and I really try to, it's almost like a belief, like, how can I talk to this parent? How can I talk to her about her daughter in Algebra 2? I feel like that does help because the mom or the dad who's reaching out to me, most of the time it's the mom, feels like this person is getting to know me and my family and they want to help me. Like I personalize it with everything I can. And I don't ask for a lot of information. I don't make them fill out a form. If they want to do this, then the next thing I say is I need an email or a text number that I can send the Zoom link to. And at that time, I already have gotten their time zone. And then I set the call up. And I've gotten burned a few times. It took me a while to figure out what fake requests were by anonymous people and people who are up to no good. I learned that pretty quickly though. And usually I can tell if someone really wants tutoring, they provide a lot more detail than just like, I need a 10th grade math tutor, anonymous. I don't know what that's about, but sometimes I've gotten some weird stuff. Like people want they want to pay me first and then they'll tell me what they want. I'm like, that's weird. So I just say I don't work that way. And I don't even reach out to those anymore. So it's a win-win. I repeat that too, because I feel like they have nothing to lose by this. And then again, the call to action is message me your child's grade in school and math class if you'd like me to set up that Zoom call. And I do want to know what math class they're in because I only tutor algebra through pre-calc. I don't tutor 7th through 8th grade math. I don't tutor calculus. I don't I have tutored statistics at a small college I worked at for about 10 years, but I don't tutor it anymore because I just don't want to be spread out that thin. Because sometimes I have to review the material too. And then here's where I put about me. I feel like all the information here and the bottom in my signature lets them know who I am. That's helpful. Heidi Erickson, certified math teacher, grades 7 through 12. And I'm actually certified 5 through 12 in the state of Wisconsin, but I don't want to tutor 5th and 6th graders. And I say 7 through 12 because I do have 7th and 8th graders taking algebra and geometry, and their parents reach out to me. So even though I say they are high school math classes, and then I write math tutor because I don't want them to just think I'm a math teacher, I'm a math tutor. And then I write Wisconsin because I feel like Wisconsin has a pretty good reputation for education. We have a great in-state college system here. So I don't know, I just include that. Plus it helps them know my time zone too, if they're interested in that. And they know it's going to be over Zoom and not in person. So any questions on that?
No, I mean, I really like that. It's very straight to the point. This is it. Keep it moving. You don't need to flower anything and put all this excessive stuff, because it is true. You just want to get straight to the point, and parents just want results. So
Yeah.
kudos, major kudos.
Yeah. And the way I do this too is I just jump on the call. I always get the student's first name because I jump on and I feel like my heart breaks for kids who are never, their name is never said in school. Oh man, I could almost start crying. It's crazy. Like some kids go to school and no one ever says their name. So like if I'm with a kid, I want to be like, hello, Matthew, I'm Mrs. Erickson. Your mom tells me you're in geometry. And I want them every time I get on the call, and I always tell them, I can't believe I'm crying. Audrey, what's this about?
It's all right. It's your emotion, because that's your passion coming out. That's your passion. Go ahead.
I tell them at the end of the call, like, it's always good to work with you. Good to see you. Like I see when I was in schools, you see these kids walking around and hardly anyone ever talks to them. And I don't know if they even hear their name said. So I always make sure I get their first name and I greet them by name. I tell them it's good to see them. And it always is. Like most of the kids, even if they have ADHD, they somehow can pay attention on the screen. It gives them a place to zoom in. And most of them I work with work pretty hard. Some of them with ADHD, they have some struggles, and it kind of makes me giggle. Like they never have paper or pencil, and we spend the first 10 minutes they looking for paper, pencil, charging their Chromebook, and I'm like, man, but this is how they operate, right? And they just make me laugh because it's every call it can be like just one student. I shouldn't even say that. One student I have tends to start all his calls like that. He's surprised there's no random piles of paper in the room he's in. I'm like, shouldn't you bring your own paper? But he's like, I can't believe there's no paper in this room. Cracks me up every time. So I mean, I think that's the beauty of, and I had a daughter who needed speech therapy during COVID, and it was over COVID, and it was on Zoom. And I remember thinking, how is speech therapy going to work on Zoom? This is impossible. And that lady would come on, Miss Connie was her name, and she would come on the screen, and the first thing she would say, hello, Hannah, it's so good to see you. And she had this huge smile. And I remember feeling like sunshine was pouring into my house when Miss Connie came on the screen. And when I decided to be an online tutor, I'm like, I'm going to be that for kids. Because I felt like my daughter was so welcomed and so loved on by this person who lived on the other side of the state. And Hannah, actually, her speech got a lot better through that. I realized how great it was. And she's the one who told me kids who have ADHD, she sometimes does better on a screen than in person. They're not as distracted, which I found fascinating.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So when the parents, so what's the actual physical workflows? You have this sent out in the Facebook message. A parent will DM you saying that this is what they need.
They message me. I think that's in Facebook where they message me. I don't know. I just have an app with that little squiggly line. Is that in Facebook or is that a message thing on my iPhone? I don't even know.
Messenger.
It's Facebook. So,
Okay.
So then you reply back. Do you say, I want to set up a Zoom call with you, or how?
Well, they've read this. I'm assuming they've read this ad, and I'm on multiple Facebook groups where I type this ad up, and sometimes I repeat it. And I have some other ones where I actually list the math classes I'm in, and they're slightly different, but not a lot. I feel like people don't want to read a lot and they don't have time. So yeah, they message me and they usually will say, can you help my junior in geometry? And I'll say, yes. In what time zone do you live? And then they tell me, and then I look at my calendar and I'll say, I can meet you Thursday at 8 p.m. Does that work? A lot of times I never used to give out my price until after I met with them, because on the call, they realize I can help their student, and I didn't want them not meeting with me because they thought it was too expensive. So I'd wait till, so if they ask, I would tell them. Now I'm telling them because I'm getting so busy. If they can't afford it, I really don't want to just even, I don't have time for all this because I'm getting quite busy. So then I meet with them and I say hi to the kid. I say, hello, Matthew, your mom tells me doing geometry. Oh, the other thing I do then after I've gotten it set up, I will say to the parent, this is not necessary, but it's helpful. Can you send me a picture, PDF, or link of the work they want, of the homework they want me to help them with Thursday night? And then I'll say, it's not necessary, but it's helpful. I pull it up on my desktop before we meet. So I have it there and I can look at it. And sometimes I want to look ahead at what they're doing and make sure I have a good plan for how to help them. Other time, I mean, it's truly helpful to have that pulled up ahead of time because I'm only meeting with them for 15 to 20 minutes. A lot of times it does turn into 30, which I'm trying to get away from, but I find I just want to help the kid. I want them feeling good going to school the next day. So I've stayed on. One time I stayed an hour and 20 minutes because the kid had just moved from the UK and I was like, he was so smart, but he had missed systems of equations. And he could learn it. But anyway, I stayed on him. He's a client now, but I stayed on with him an hour and a half because I was in the beginning and I just have fun teaching kids, right? I just like to see them learn. And so I just stayed on and, but that's how that happens. Then I meet with them and then I just say, okay, you're working on supplementary angles and we take a look at it and I ask them about the problem. Like, tell me what you would do to start this. And if they don't know, I try to always find where they are and what they do know. And I said, that's right. That's right. Lots of positive affirmation for where they are there. And then I slowly inch them to where they need to be to understand the lesson. So they're starting to feel good on the call. Like I can quickly find out where they're at and I can make up 3 or 4 problems on the spot because I've been teaching for so long. Like if they need help with properties of exponents, I can make up 3 or 4 problems to get them to, the spot they need to be for the homework lesson. And sometimes they really need a lot of help. A lot of times they don't, but now this time of year, I'm realizing, ooh, these kids, and I've told the parent, I can do this, but probably going to have to meet 2 to 3 times a week. And then they always pick 2, which is great because I don't have time for 3, but some of them need more help than others. Some of them are just like B students who are perfectionists and want to get A's, right? And that's pretty easy to tutor, but then they make a decision. So after 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I'll say, a lot of times a parent is listening in the background or I encourage them to, but sometimes they leave and I'll tell the kid, go get your parent. And I'll say, sometimes the parent knows and the kid knows. They're like, yeah, we want to do this. And other times I'll say, why don't you guys talk it over? See if this is something you want to do. And then text me and we'll set up, I'll tell them like, oh, I do have Wednesday nights at 7:30 open, or I have, whatever, because I have to find, so a lot of them are in sports and things and scheduling could be a thing. So I kind of find that out. And then we just get set up and I collect payment like 4 different ways, whatever they prefer. And that's how we do it.
So quick question. I think Lynette is probably wondering, like, how is the thing that you have in your document? What is the sequence? Like, is that your ad that
This is
you
my
have?
ad. This is all I have.
Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
So, I know a lot of people, and Audrey, you teach this too. Like when people Google you, they want to be able to find you. I get that, and they should. If people Googled me, they won't find much. In fact, there's a website out there someone in India made for me. And it's got mistakes on it, and I'm so embarrassed. I have no idea how to get it off. But anyway, it's got like weird pictures on it. It's very nice in many ways, but she has some things that I talked to her and I was helping her with her copy, and then she's like, hey, I'll make you a website. And I was like, well, if you want to, you can. I'm not really looking for one. And anyway, that's kind of weird. I don't know what to do about that. People might find that because I Googled myself the other day and I found that. I'm like, ooh, this has some errors on it. She's got some strange pictures too from like when my family was really little that aren't really relevant. And she's got a little girl at a computer, and like I don't tutor small children, so it's a little strange, but it's okay. I mean, her heart was nice, and she wanted help with her copy, so I helped her a little bit. That was early on when I didn't have time. I think she might have been on one of these calls, and then she reached out to me personally and we talked about it. But
Okay.
well, the other thing I wanted to say is like, what would you do right now if you had to have a client by 7 p.m.? Like there's a lot of people who don't say they don't have any clients or they have no shows a lot. I'm like, well, what would you do if you had to have a client by 7 p.m.? Someone's going to take your life or a loved one's life or cut off your right arm. What would you do? Because I think sometimes when you have a business, you just have to like, what do I need to do to bring in some cash right now? And I think there's a lot of actions we could take. I mean, I made a list of them. I mean, what would you, Nitsa, what would you do if you had to have a client tonight?
I would go to Facebook and announce myself.
You would go to
because it's what I know. And I don't know, I think I can reach a lot of people.
Can you say it again?
Oh, can you guys hear me?
We can hear you, but there's like a major echo, like it's bouncing off the walls type thing.
Okay. My my phone and my computer today, like I said that I would go to Facebook because it's what I know how to do. And I make an announcement there because I think I can reach quite a number of people. And actually, I would go to Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, which are the three things I'm using right now. And probably I will tell my neighbors and my family. I don't know if you guys were able to hear me.
Okay, I heard about half of that.
Yeah.
Like you go to Facebook and you maybe go to your neighbors in person.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was thinking about that. If you had to go get a person today, you probably would go out in person in addition to using some social media. Or maybe you would email all of your friends and family and say, I was even thinking, what if you said, I'm a math tutor. I'm offering free lessons till the end of this month. You probably could get a few clients signing up that maybe would start paying in May. I was just thinking, what would be an irresistible offer? Or if you, like Audrey goes to places and hangs up flyers personally, like coffee shops, restaurants, quick trips, gas stations, libraries. I'd probably go to schools and I'd probably go in with an ad and give it to a guidance counselor or a principal. Of course, you have to get permission, or even the math teachers and say, I'm a math tutor. And you don't have to tell them you don't have any clients. Just say, I'm a math tutor. Just claim it. I'm a math tutor offering free lessons this month.
Now, you got to be careful with that when you go into schools because of the whole thing. But the best part will be on that same traction, emailing your counselor, people that's in charge of the special ed department. Those are the ones, because teachers, they're going to be so overwhelmed. They're just going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah,
but
true.
If you do want to take it with the school route, do an email, see if you can set up a quick Zoom, and then they can see you, they can hear from you, and then they'll be more willing. And if you have an like if you have a teacher buddy that you can send an email to, if it was like, okay, I have a teacher friend and I can send it to them and they could pass it on for me, they're going to be more receptive of that instead of you showing up to school saying like, hey, I'm a math tutor and I just want to get a student today. I mean, you might as well just stand outside, and when school is, about to be released and you see parents sitting in the cars, if you want to give them flyers that way, if you're going to do that, if you want to be in person, you can try that.
I mean, I guess I was thinking
going inside.
I was thinking in person. Well, and that I have a relationship here in town because I've lived here a long time and I could do that. But I feel like people might get so many emails. I don't know if they read an email. Maybe in person they would respond. Like, or if you go to like even a chamber of commerce or a business group or these networking events they might have in your town where you get to say what you do, and You just tell people, I'm a math tutor, and this month I'm doing free math lessons. I don't know, just an idea. Or I heard of a lady who was a life coach. She made herself a metal pin that said life coach with her name on it, and she never left. She always dressed up when she went out to grocery shopping, dressed professionally, put her pin on, and people would ask her, "You're a life coach? What do you do?" And she'd have her little spiel she gave, and she always wore that pin. And I thought, that was brilliant. Another lady I know wears a t-shirt that talks about being a tutor wherever she goes out in the community. And or YMCAs or wherever youth sports are done, you could put flyers there, wherever there's parents and youth. Children's museums, I was thinking, cafes, coffee shops. But this book here, this is another book I read a while ago called Business Boutique by Christy Wright. She had a section in here, and this is where I got stuck when I was trying to sell life coaching. She said, you have to ask for the sale. The biggest mistake is not asking for the sale. So you tell people who you are, and you can tell people interested, but she has a whole section on, you need to ask for the sale. Like, can I go ahead and book a session for you? Can we get that on the calendar? Like, sometimes, and I remember feeling so frozen and so scared to ask for the sale. But, and that might look different with tutoring, but I think that's an important thing we have to get over. Sometimes we have to ask for the sale or ask for the meeting. So that's why I like this meeting I do. Doesn't cost them anything. It's very risk-free and it provides value. But I do think sometimes we have to ask ourselves, how many no's am I getting this week? How many no's have I gotten? Because if you just post on 10 different social media platforms or 5 different ones and it just tells them who you are, that's really not making an ask. It's letting people know who you are, but it's not a direct sale. It's not a direct ask. It's not a call to action, really. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm not, the work you do is not passive, but once it's sitting there, it can be considered it's passive. It's not you going out and making the sale and selling yourself.
I mean, in a way, you are. And can you unshare so we can see you? Because
yeah,
when
yeah.
you like
Sorry.
that'd be awesome.
Okay.
That's why I had my hand up.
Okay.
But it's almost like if you think of it, most people, especially for me growing up, it was just like it's the hustle. So it's like, even though you have your business and it seems like, well, I'm not physically going out and hustling, but you are. Like you're hustling in a digital space. So it's like everything that used to be really physical with the touch, now you're doing it through your video. Now you're doing it through your post. Even if it's just a simple post, even though she's saying it's an ad, it's not a paid ad. You're still putting stuff out there. People are still screening, still scrolling, trying to find assistance. And you never know when the right person is going to jump onto your post and then they're going to react. You want people to react. They just want to know who, not really who you are, but like what you do and who you're going to serve. Just keeping it simple. Sometimes we get so caught up with, oh, I have to do Facebook, I have to do Instagram, I have to do TikTok, I have to do YouTube. And when I started, I was jumping on everything just because I want to put myself out there. And all I did was just overwhelmed myself.
Yeah.
So now I understand, because when I first started, people told me this is all the stuff that you need. And they say, oh, pick one. And you're like, all right, so which one's the best one? And no one's giving you an answer. So what do? You just join everything. And you're like, let's play the lottery. Let's see who's going to pick me. And then all of a sudden, the ones that are really getting you are word of mouth. They're like your friends, friends of a friend. People know you from my athletic past. People know me from college. People know me from teaching their kids or their grandkids and all this other stuff. So it's like you never know, but like you said, if you don't put yourself out there, no one's not going to know that you exist. Like, you know, you exist because you're like, oh, I can pinch myself. I'm here. But when it comes to your business, they don't know you exist because they're going to go with typical top names. They're going to go with the big names like Sylvan and Huntington and all those big places. And they didn't know that they live next door to a person that can help their child to not even go over, but to pass a barrier in order to achieve their goal.
Yeah. And I chose this just because I would get overwhelmed with all those things. But if you have your copy. So anything you put out there, you know, in email or on a website or on Facebook, that's called copy, all the words you use. And I don't do video, I just do words. If it's not getting any responses, that's where I think it could help to go back and look at your copy and maybe just choose one platform to experiment with it. Like see what gets you responses. And you could figure out, and I did kind of figure out some things. And the other thing is this I heard from some of the people marketing life coaching is you write your ad or you write your email, you write your copy, cut it in half. Cut it in half again, cut it in half again. Like, and I did a lot of that. To get this down took me a long time to get it down this small. He's got something in here that Blaise Pascal said. All experienced writers know the key to great writing isn't in what they say, it's in what they don't say. The more we cut out, the better the screenplay or book. The mathematician and philosopher Blaise Pascal is often credited for sending a long letter, stating he simply didn't have time to send a short one. Meaning he didn't have time to edit it, so he just wrote a really long letter. And when I send out my emails to my parents, I'm on my phone a lot and I'm in the middle of other things. I reread it 2 or 3 times. I find spelling errors. I find things I want to say differently. I find ways to cut it shorter, and I don't like doing it. I'm usually tired. I want to just send it. I want to do copy and paste, but I don't. And I'm always amazed at how many errors I can find in it and fix it and make it better. But that did take me time to get this succinctly written. So I said everything I wanted to do very quickly in very simple language. The other thing is I don't do assessments because I don't want a kid who's struggling in math to have to come on, and this doesn't work for everyone, but I don't want them to have to do an assessment and take time doing that when I could just help them. And then I think helping them is what helps the parents see right away that I can help them. And the assessment, I guess, is just done in their classroom. When they take a test, they're going to get assessed and know if they're doing better. But I'm also doing high school math. I'm not doing elementary reading or things like that. So it's a little different.
Right.
But another thing in this book I'll share is the Story Brand book. He talks about all good movies or books, and this is what we do in our marketing. People want to be brought into this story and they want to buy a transformation. He says there's a character, and you want to communicate this somehow in your marketing. There's a character that has a problem and they meet a guide. You're the guide who gives them a plan and calls them to action that helps them avoid failure and ends in success. People want your brand to participate in their transformation. So that he really goes through, he has a lot of exercises in here that help you do that for a person. Is describe them as the character, describe their problem better than they themselves could describe it. You're a guide that gives them a plan. I mean that, and that's all done in just sentences, like brief phrases. That ends in success. Like my sentence, I get results fast. That's what I think the end result is they want. And the plan is, you know, it's a plan to get together and meet each other. I think that helps the parent feel held. And I try to do all the heavy lifting. I set up the meeting. I do all the time change things myself. Like I try to figure out, I never tell them when I'm free in Central Time. I always have to do the math and tell them, I want it to be very easy for them to respond to me quickly on the go. Like I don't want them to have to sit down later and think about it. So that's kind of what I have. I don't know if that's helpful or not, but.
That was extremely helpful. Do not undercut yourself after you just went through all of this.
Yeah, I know. Well, and and one more thing I wanted to say is, I think you need to know your strength to market yourself well. Like, what are you really good at? What do you really provide students with? And that's why I was encouraging people who don't have any students yet, is offer 2 weeks of free tutoring. Like offer tutoring for the end of this month. You're not going to have to tutor that many sessions free, because I think it's by tutoring you figure out what you're good at. And then when you figure out what you're good at, you can market it really well and you feel very confident marketing it. I think, I mean, I tutored for just a couple years ago, I was tutoring for $32 an hour. That was 4 years ago. And prior to that, I was charging $24 to $28 in my house when my kids napped when they were babies. And that's when I figured out what made me a good tutor.
I mean, it really is like you getting to know yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you really get down to it, I mean, like you have that real good source because of your life coaching and you're able to put the mix and mingle. Like we are so used to, especially if you're a teacher and you're coming into tutoring, there's some people that have never taught, especially in the States. You don't have to be certified to be a tutor. So it is kind of like everything you're saying, the mindset, really getting to know what is your niche. You can't just say I'm K through 12. Like you have to have like a specific, sorry, um, niche. If a random comes and you're just like, all right, let me try fifth grade, try it. Because it doesn't have to say, well, Orgy says I do this and that's it. And I'm like, I'm not God, you know? So, I mean, and what I did was I tried some things. I know now that fifth grade boys is not it. I don't care if, well, he's doing algebra. Don't care. I do not want to tutor fifth grade boys. I can't take them. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the processing, but there's times I'm like, dude, are you here? But fifth grade girls, all day. Sixth grade girls, beautiful. Here we go. High school, thank you. That's really my speed. But it's like really you getting to know who you are and you designing the business that you want, even though there's so many programs.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what makes it different. That's what makes you unique. Who are you? And taking a moment to sit down and think about who do you want to attract? It's great to say, hey, you got to the end of the month, I'm doing free sessions and I'm doing algebra 1 and algebra 2, if that's what you want to do. Or I'm just going to do just whatever. And you put it out there. Don't just think about it. You still have to promote it. You still have to maybe even go on a quick Facebook Live, which takes you 5 minutes, and make that announcement so people can hear your voice, they can see you speaking. But we hide behind the stock photos.
Yeah.
I mean, every time I go, I see so many stock photos and I'm like, okay, that's not you. And I know there's a lot of stock photos that doesn't have too much representation of people of color, but there is representation. But how about putting yourself in there? Take a picture of yourself, put it on Canva, get rid of the background if you want to do that. Make yourself be that person, because that's what people want to know. Who am I giving my child to for an hour?
Yeah.
So, but I think Lynette had a question, so I'm going to go off safe box.
No.
Nope.
But what are some of the things that you guys are reaching? Like that was my premise of what I'm getting from today, which it seems like a lot of great things. It is organization. It is getting to know who you are and getting to know an idea of who your ideal or target audience is. And as you said, being a guide, guiding them, showing them through that. Other than that, what are some of the things that, say, Lynette and Nitsa, that you guys got from today's presentation?
I think that free tutoring for the end of the month was a really good idea. You know, offering a free class of whatever. That was really key for me. Nita?
I got that from life coaching when I was so afraid to put myself out there. I had this success coach telling me, I'm like, oh, I don't know what to say to people. She goes, you know exactly what to say. You say, I'm a life coach, getting certified. I'm offering free life coaching sessions till the end of this month. And I was like, wow, I can say that confidently. And it was, so I learned that there. But when you can confidently say that, who doesn't want something free? And they probably will turn into paying clients. And if not, you figure out what you're good at or what you don't like to do. You learn something from it. So sorry, Nitsa, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, I would say that was one for me. That's a very good idea. especially now that the Algebra 1 exams are coming in May. So I can offer maybe 2 to 4 sessions for free, right? Can you guys hear me? If not, I'm going to put it on the chat.
It's a little hard. Did you say 4 sessions for free?
Yes, I was thinking I can do 4 sessions, like offer 4 sessions for free in what is left of this month for the Algebra 1 EOC. I'm going to try to change my house.
Nitsa, how about just saying I'm offering free sessions through the end of the month?
Sessions, right?
What?
And
Why?
then when they come contact me, I tell them
Ooh.
the days. Can you hear me better now, guys?
Yes.
Much
Okay. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yes, I tend to be too much to the detail.
I kind of think 4 is too many. Like, why do you want to tutor 4
Oh,
times? Tutor once or twice and then get them paying. Like,
Yeah.
it's like,
okay.
I would just say I'm offering it for the end of the month so they hurry up and get in to see you. They can pay 4 times if they want, but get them moving. Get them to, if it's free till what, April 30th, they're going to get on the ball. If you announce this today, they're going to at least have 1, maybe 2 sessions. And then May 1st, you give them your price. This is how you can work with me.
Okay, you see,
I wouldn't offer them 4. That's too many free.
that's too many. Okay, okay. Oh my God, guys, I need so much help. I'm too generous.
Yeah.
Okay, one or 2, perfect. So this is a good idea. I'm going to do that today. And
Don't
also,
even tell them 1 or 2. Tell them I'm offering free sessions
I'm
till the
offering
end of the
till
month.
the end of the. I'm offering till the free sessions, free Algebra 1 sessions till the end of the month. Okay,
If you don't
perfect.
like
Okay.
the kid, if you don't care for the kid and how they're working and you don't think you're a good fit, you don't want to work with them 4 times.
Right.
I mean, I would just, like, if you love them, you can make room for them 4 times, but if they want it. But I think between now, today's the 19th, between now and the end of the month, they realistically are going to get 1 or 2 in, and you can
Okay.
decide. You can be like, no, I don't have time to do 4 times this week, but I
Okay.
can fit you in on Tuesday and Friday or whatever.
Okay.
I don't think I'd give them a number. And then I would have a good plan for when you get real close to May 1st, which is Wednesday. A week from next Wednesday is like, okay, here's how you can continue working with me.
So
Okay.
I would love for you to repeat what your statement is one more time. Actually,
Okay.
repeat your statement.
Okay. So, hello, I'm Nitsa Dalmau. I'm a math tutor, and I'm offering free Algebra 1 sessions till the end of the month.
Of which month?
Till the
They're
end
tricky
of,
like that.
yes, till the end of this month, April. If you want in, send me a message. And the
Okay.
message has to be more specific. Like send
Yes.
me, so what I can say.
Send me a
Say-
comment. Do something simple, something like something super simple, like tutor, math, algebra.
Or
Nitsa, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt here and I'm going to cut it way down for you, but I recommend you type it up too and cut it down, cut it down, cut it down. But I'm going to cut it for you right now because I do this a lot. Are you tutoring just algebra or what grades? Or what?
no, I in math is Algebra 1. I also tutor kindergarten to 2nd grade struggling readers. But I thought about the Algebra 1 because in Florida, the EOC exams are coming in May.
You know what I might say? I heard you give your first and your last name and then what you did. And then what I would say, hello, I'm Nitsa.
Okay.
I'm algebra tutor. On free sessions through April 30th. Message
Could you say it again? Could you say it again? Hello, I'm Nitsa.
Just say I'm Nitsa. You can later on, you can like type up your full name and things like that, but just say I'm Nitsa. Keep it short. I'm Nitsa. It's 2 words. I'm a math tutor offering free algebra. I would say that I'm a math tutor offering free algebra sessions, because then maybe a pre-algebra mom will call you too. I'd say I'm a math tutor offering free algebra sessions through April 30th.
Okay.
I'd love to meet you and your child on a Zoom call on which I will help them with their current math homework.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel it's a good fit, we can make a plan to work together. If it's not, we end the call, but your child gets free math help for the day, something like that. Then I would say this, message me the time zone in which you live if you'd like me to set up that Zoom call. Because they have one thing to message you, their time zone, and they may tell you more. They may say, oh, my girl is a sophomore in high school and she's taking algebra for the second. They may tell you all kinds of things, but make it simple for them. And then you message them back and you say, great, thanks for reaching out. I just need you find out the time zone, and then later on you tell them when you're available, set the time, and then later on say, can I get a text or an email to which to send the Zoom link to? And then, but I would just keep it, like 5 sentences.
Okay.
I'm a math tutoring offering free algebra sessions through April 30th. I'd love to meet you and your child on a Zoom call. And anyway, and then just keep it real short and just say, I don't know. That's what I would do. I would keep it very short, and the call to action is so easy. Message me the time zone in which you live.
Got it. I wrote it down. Thank you.
Yes,
I wrote it. Hello, I'm Nita. I'm a math tutor offering free algebra sessions through April 30th. I would love to meet you and your child in a Zoom call. Message me your time zone so I can set up the call.
I would say something about the Zoom call, that a Zoom call on which you will help them with their current math homework, because then you're offering something for 15 to 20 minutes or whatever you want to do. Maybe you want to do it for 15 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, but offer them something that makes them want to get on the call with you. It's a win-win. If they don't like you, you end the call and they get free help. If they like you, they have someone they can make a plan with.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm kind of bossy, but I'm like, let's do this.
No, it's not being bossy.
But I'm getting specific instruction, because this is something I struggle with. Audrey has read some of the things I write. I'm like maybe too romantic, and I don't say anything specific.
And think about what would you respond to quickly and easily. And maybe it's just me. I don't want to take time to read long paragraphs. I get emails that are paragraphs long. I delete them. I want to know the nuts and the bolts, and quickly know the information. And what I've heard is 4th grade language. People don't want to read stuff that's more for this and for advertising. They don't want to read complicated stuff.
Yeah, perfect.
What would you guys add to that, Lynette and Audrey?
I mean, right now, it's just a matter of just keep it simple. Like, I feel like there's so many people that just tried to make starting a business too complex. It's great that you're going to get your information out there. You just have to find a way to get out there and to feel comfortable getting out that word out there. And then once you get the word out there, when someone responds, don't do too much overwhelming talking. Just say, okay, what are you taking? How can I help? And then you listen. So when we're in this to serve. We're the servers. So we just have to, our mission, if we want to put it that way, is to put ourselves out there so we can attract the people to us. So this is definitely one tactic, because a lot of you guys are saying that you can't find students. And Heidi and I were just talking earlier that I'm like, dude, I am full. Like, I got 5 people. I went on a live to talk about our membership, and I end up getting a new client. Dude, where did that come from? And they want me twice a week. And I'm like, I was promoting the membership, but I get a new client. Because they were just like, we liked how you talked. We liked how you presented yourself. I mean, I was just like, I thought I looked erect, but whatever. But they saw something that made them reach out. And then we did the whole call thing and everything. So it's just a matter of like, we can't hide anymore. And Heidi already said that. We just can't hide. Just get out there, be direct. Now we have to be bosses. We have to be owners of business. This is not, I'll do it today. I'll think about it next week. This is your business. This is how you want to run it. You have to present it.
And if you're fearful, remember that you have to be afraid and do it anyway. It feels like you're going to die sometimes when we get anxious, when we get scared, but you're not going to die. It just feels like you're going to die. But tell yourself, I'm not going to die. People might say no, and I'm not going to die. There's no tiger. There's no bear that's going to kill you. Look around, you're safe physically. But it feels like our body, our heart races, and our stomach gets queasy or whatever happens. I have to coach myself on that daily almost. I feel anxious a lot. But it's getting better when I realize I'm not going to die. I have to be scared and do it anyway. I'm going to let the critics be the critics. I'm going to let them have their opinions. Just let them. And here's the cool thing too. I heard Stacey Bayman says this. It's the scientific method. You try some stuff. If it works, keep doing it. If it doesn't work, change it a little bit. Try it again. I love that. It's like, that's what you're doing with this copy. Try it. If it doesn't work, try something else, but it might work. But you can't, I don't think we don't want to sit back passively and wait too long. I don't know. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I have a question. This meeting, these free sessions is 15 to 20 minutes, and it's one child at a time. My question is, because right now I tutor in groups. They are small groups of 3 students, but it's in groups. But these free sessions should be one-on-one.
Well,
so
I'm
the parents
high school math classes, and unless the kids I have 2 people who come to my house, they're in the same math class at the same school. They are in the same section the same night. There's no way I could tutor. I have about 6 geometry kids from all over the country. They're studying different lessons at different times. And when that high school kid's coming to me and they're on proving congruent triangles, side, that is the only lesson they want help with. They don't want to wait around. So for me, I can only do, if it's high school, if it was in the summer and I'm prepping them for a class, I could have them in a group. But for what I'm doing right now, I can only do one-on-one. I think for algebra, one-on-one would be the way to go. I think I do. When I tutor those 2 girls, they don't each get the same help they get if they come individually, because I'm going back and forth between them.
Yeah. Okay. Good. And I also liked let them, what you said, like let your family, your friends, the people, the critics, let them say whatever. I'm gonna put that on my computer in a post-it note, because I am terrified every time I have to put myself on social media. And it's kind of crazy because like most of my friends and most of the people that I have in my Facebook group, they enjoy my company. Some of my close friends say, I don't know why you are so afraid of that. But I'm just, I guess it's what you said, Heidi, that we are afraid of criticism or rejection or whatever. But I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put it on a post-it note so I see it when I'm working on my computer on my post. Let them. I have to really let people think whatever they want to think, and that's their problem, not mine. I'm here to help the kids, and whoever wants to help, they will come to me, and I will not get everybody. I will get whoever is the person that needs to be working with me.
Yeah. Nisa, also what would help me is always turn on my webcam when we're in meetings, just to get used to seeing yourself and being out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on my phone now, but usually I'm on my computer. But I'm like, you know what? It is where I am, and this is what it is. This meeting is important, but I want to be seen. So what helps me, get over the fear, I would keep my my webcam on because it's different.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Exactly. All right.
Well, and just so you guys know, this little paragraph I shared with you that I have, that goes up on the Facebook groups I'm in, and my own Facebook group, which is called Math Tutoring Explanation Point. I just made it up on the fly. There's nothing scientific about that at all, but I don't have a picture. I don't have a picture. I mean, my picture shows up, you know, like it does on Facebook, but I don't have a picture on here. I don't have any video. I don't have anything fancy. I don't know how to use Canva. So there are multiple ways to do this too, you know?
Yeah.
Try all the ways. I think sometimes people read my post and think, oh, she's a simple mom who's probably a good math teacher because she's been doing it for 34 years, but like, it's not fancy. Everyone else has pictures and posters and
Yeah.
very fancy ads. I see them and I get calls. I don't know why, except the only thing I can think of, it's my copy and it's very clear what to do. Or they like that. I think they like that they know they can get free help. They know exactly what to do. Everyone else I see in their ad, it says, reach out if I can help you. Reach out if you want, if I can be of service to you. And I just don't think people have to think about what to type then.
This was super, super helpful. Thank you so much, Heidi. Super helpful.
Well, thanks for listening. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just share what I do. I'm not saying that I have no expertise in this, but I have read a lot of books. I've read a lot of marketing books and I've listened to lots of marketing podcasts. And I think it just rubbed off on me what I was exposing myself to. And that does happen.
And that's the other part about being a tutoring business owner. You have to look at so many resources that's not so aligned, like so direct, like just purely tutoring. You're going to have to look at some or you're going to have to listen to some podcasts, see some motivational speeches on YouTube, maybe even like read some articles. Like you still have to do your own research of what, and then whatever resonates with you, that's going to resonate with you. Like for me, it was a TikTok mantra, a trend that was going on a couple years ago, you know, where it says, I don't chase, I attract. Whatever belongs to me simply finds me. And then all of a sudden, that's my motivation that pushes me to do whatever I need to do and to get the business that I'm getting. But that may not resonate with you guys. Maybe it might be something else.
But I've learned in life coaching that sentence that you allow to run through your brain affects how you feel, and all your actions come out of the way you're feeling. So when you're thinking, I attract, I don't chase, I attract, how do you feel when you're like, I attract? You feel confident, you feel attractive, like I attract students. This is what I do. And then you allow that sentence to run through your brain. It makes you feel a certain way. And then you take actions out of that. It's huge. It is so huge because I learned in my parenting, all the negative thoughts I allowed to have made me feel one way, and all my actions were trying to control my daughter then, and everything she did and didn't do, and all that caused was conflict and blown up relationships, and I had to change my thoughts. There was there was something I wanted to say about thoughts that I thought was so important to. Oh, here's something I think is really important. Ask your brain good questions, because your brain will go to work to answer a question. I'll give you an example. I can sit at my dining room table early in the morning with my coffee and my Bible, and I'll look at my kitchen. It's a complete mess, dishes, shoes, paperwork, and I can think. It's not always like that. I'm just saying I don't like working in that environment. It overwhelms me. So I'll get really like, and I'll think, how come I can't keep my house up? Why can't I keep a clean house? Why can other people do this? And my brain will go to work answering the question. Well, because you sleep late, because you push your snooze, because you scroll on your Facebook group, because you sit down and eat chips when you should be doing your own dish. Like I go to work, like, why can't I keep my house clean? Instead, a better question to ask my brain is, what's one thing I can do to make this place look better? Oh, I could put all the clean dishes away and wash all the dirty dishes. I could sweep the floor. I could, like, these little 5-minute actions that I could do. If I ask myself, when I feel overwhelmed, I go, what's one thing I can do to make this better? my brain starts to answer that question. And I think we have to be so careful of the questions we ask our brain. It seems really like neutral to say, why can't I keep a clean house? Why can't I keep my kitchen up? That's not neutral, because your brain's going to go to answer and accuse you of all these negative things you do or don't do. So I think in our business, we can like, what's one thing I can do today to move the needle? What's one thing I can do to bring in cash today or to bring in a client today? I think we should ask our brain good questions.
Yeah.
I found that powerful in my own life. I mean, sometimes it's like, make your bed. I time myself, you guys, it takes 2 minutes. And my room and my brain is so much clearer if I make my bed in the morning. Yeah, I put it off. I put it off. And then, like, sometimes I just have to say, what's one thing to make this better?
I think you were like in my home yesterday because I was thinking the same thing. And I was like, okay, it's called clean your desk off, Audrey. Like that's what it is. And I cleaned my desk off and I'm like, oh, I feel so much better. And then I had tutoring. I'm like, oh, I feel so much lighter.
But sometimes I set a timer for 5 minutes and I go, just keep moving for 5 minutes. Put stuff away for 5 minutes, clean the kitchen for 5 minutes. It's amazing what 5 minutes can do.
Right. So
Anyway.
if anyone has any questions, any additional questions, this would be the perfect time to ask them. Everyone's good. And if not, if a question comes up later on, when I put the replay on, just go ahead and put a comment underneath, or you can like have a direct message to Heidi because now Heidi knows how to do direct messages. Yes. Which is awesome. We're getting there. We're getting there. But first of all, Heidi, thank you so
You're
much for
welcome.
doing that because trust me, it
Listening.
wasn't just you just like, let me just think about this. No, like you put a lot of effort into it. I see that your passion came through on that because you really want everyone else. And that's, I hate to say it, but that's the reason why I picked you guys to come as like my founders for this group, because I wanted strong, independent, but motivated women. And I am so happy that you guys are here. And thank you so much for sharing. So it's not about the Audrey Codner show. Like anyone, if you have something that's a specialty, even if you think if it's really small, you can come on here and just say, hey, let's do a presentation and share that, because you never know. It sparked something because now we got Lynette and Nitsa that's really looking at, okay, let me just do something free for the rest of this month. And you can see as I sit here and watch them, they're all like churning. Okay, I can do that. Should I do that? Should I post that on TikTok? Should I do that today? Yeah, should I do? Yeah, do it today. Don't wait. Don't let it drift. But I definitely do want to say thank you so much for taking the time to putting this together.
Yeah, well, thanks for coming, everyone. It was helpful to have people to talk to.
Yes.
So thanks for listening. I like to talk.
So we're going to end this call
you,
unless, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, thank you, Heidi. It was very good. And I'm happy that the Facebook popped up when I needed it too. That's the problem.
Yeah.
All right. So ladies, have a good one. And if anything, just if you do have additional questions, you can either go directly to Heidi, or if you want to put it as a comment, do that on the replay. That'll be great. And get ready because the home is almost at a place where I feel comfortable welcoming people in. All right. So have a great day and see you soon.
Hi. Thank